release of 2 American men held by North Korea. We're back with the North Korea expert Tony Namkung, who played a key role, even though he tries to play down that role, and Professor Victor Cha, Director of Asian Studies at Georgetown University and the Korea Chair at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Victor, I know the North Koreans want attention. They're on the so-called charm offensive, but does you really believe they might ever make any substantive changes in their nuclear program in order to get better relations with the U.S. and the West?
Well, I certainly think, Wolf, that has been the hope in the last 2 agreements, the 1994 agreement with the U.S. and then the 2005 agreement in which I participated as the White House rep. The problem is under this new leadership, the North Koreans have declared this Byungjin strategy, which says they want economic benefits and political benefits, and they want to keep their nuclear weapons. So the basic core quid pro quo of the past 25 years of nuclear diplomacy has now been thrown out the window, which I think is very discouraging. I don't think that the United States is going to lower the bar in terms of the negotiations just because of the release of these 3 Americans, although I think the president really appreciates it. And the notion that North Korea thinks that they can get an easy win because President Obama got thumped in the last midterm elections is just ludicrous. I mean, there's no one in this White House or in any White House that believes that the North Korea issue is somehow going to win them political points at home. I think the real thing driving all this, Wolf, is really what's happening in New York, in the UN, with regard to this resolution that's being drafted by the European Union and 50 other members that would refer North Korea to the International Criminal Court for Human Rights Abuses. The North Koreans have never seen anything like this before. It's really freaking them out, and I think they're quite concerned, and that explains the timing of why they've reached out in humanitarian ways to the United States, to South Korea with regard to family reunions, and to the Japanese with regard to the resolution of kidnappings that took place in the 1970s.
When you and I spoke, when you got back from North Korea, Tony, a few weeks ago, you made the point that the Pyongyang, at least, and what they allow you to see, has changed rather dramatically in the 4 years since you were there with Bill Richardson and I was there in December of 2010. Take us behind the scenes a little bit. What's going on in North Korea right now?
Well, the so-called Byungjin line of pursuing both economic growth and nuclear weapons is very much alive, as Victor has just pointed out. And on the economic side, one could fairly say that the city of Pyongyang today is jumping. There's a construction boom underway. 3 million cell phones, cars, vehicles all over the place, people rushing, bustling, busy doing this and that in ways that I've not seen in my 25 years of travel to North Korea. Clearly the standard of living has gone up, and there's a greater air of freedom, one might say. I was startled one morning in my hotel to hear an American Christian group of about 10 people singing loudly so that everybody in the hotel could hear, "What a friend we have in Jesus," both in English and in Korean, obviously for the benefit of the Korean staff. That, I submit, is an example of the greater openness that we're seeing in North Korea today.
Here's what worries me, Tony, and I'm anxious for you and Victor to weigh in, look, at the North Koreans, they got something out of holding these 3 Americans. They got the Director of National Intelligence to fly over there, deliver a letter from the President of the United States. They got a lot of publicity. What's to stop them, Tony, first to you, from going ahead, picking up some other American in the weeks to come, hold that American, and squeeze some more, I don't know if you want to call it concessions or some movement from the U.S.? What's to stop them from doing that?
Well, that's entirely possible, of course, especially as tourism rates have increased and many more Americans are visiting North Korea today than ever. We're likely to see a continuation of these starry-eyed individuals, idealistic individuals who think that they can change the world through their single visit to this very closed and secluded country. I think that the State Department, in issuing a travel advisory, should also state that it's very important to remember that they have their own laws. We may not agree with their laws, but they are their laws, and we should be very careful about violating them. That's about all you can do, and these incidents will continue to occur. But once the diplomatic process gets underway, these things will not be the irritants that they have been.
Unfortunately, we've got to leave it there, but a good conversation with two guys who are smart about North Korea. Victor, thanks very much to you. Victor Cha, Tony Namkung, thanks to you as well. There's other breaking news we're following here in the